Today we're going to talk about a book called The Loneliness Cure, which shares groundbreaking research and inspiring stories about how to transform the lives of seniors through community. I recently had the privilege of speaking with the author, Dr. Louise Aron, who is a Stanford and Harvard-trained physician and one of the leading experts on aging and loneliness. She shared incredible insights and data on how social isolation affects our brain and body, and what we can do about it. Before we dive into that, I just want to mention that the holidays can be a particularly lonely time for many people, especially if you have experienced a loss of a loved one or are going through a difficult time in your life. So if you are feeling lonely or know someone who is, please reach out for help. There are resources available and you don't have to go through this alone. All right, back to the show. So Dr. Aronson, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write The Loneliness Cure? Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. So my mother had Alzheimer's disease, and she moved into a residential care facility. When I was in medical school, and I would visit her on my, vacation from my clinical rotations, and I would bring my medical student friends with me, and they would say, "Wow, your mom seems really happy. This place looks like Disneyland." And I said, "Yeah. Well, there's a secret." I said, "Can you guess what it is?" They couldn't. I said, "There's more staff than residents." And that was really what sparked my interest in trying to understand how human beings thrive in their later years. So the book, The Loneliness Cure, is about how social isolation affects 30% of seniors living alone in the United States. That's 12 million people, and yet most of the time we don't even recognize it. It's not like they're screaming from their windows. We can't see it. But the truth is that social isolation affects our brain and body. It's as deadly as smoking, as deadly as alcohol abuse. It accelerates cognitive decline. It increases dementia risk by 50%. It increases cardiovascular events, strokes, and heart attacks. And so I wanted to share some of the amazing innovations that are happening across the country. So these are sort of small-scale, grassroots innovations, but they're creating remarkable transformations in the lives of seniors. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those innovations? Sure. So there's actually 3. One is called intergenerational living. So we know that kids need a village to raise them, and it turns out that seniors need a village too. And so in an intergenerational community, what we do is we actually house college students and seniors together. So the college students get subsidized housing, and the seniors pay full price for their apartment. But the magic happens when they need a plumber, when they need somebody to help them fix things around the house, when they need somebody to drive them to the airport, so they can call upon their neighbors, their college student neighbors. And at the same time, the college students also benefit because they learn life skills. I mean, they'll come up to me and say, "Doctor, I didn't know how to cook, and now I can cook. I have a job. I didn't have a job, and now I do." So it's really mutually beneficial. Another solution is so in a co-housing community, seniors decide how much help they need. So some want a lot of help. They want somebody to help them shower. They want somebody to help them dress. And others don't need that much help. And they all live together in the same community. And they hire a full-time chef. And they hire housekeepers. And so they share those services together. And then the third type of solution that I talk about in the book is called a creative program. And it's actually been shown to dramatically improve the lives of seniors. In fact, we did a randomized controlled trial of 254 seniors living alone. And we compared those who got the program to those who were on a wait list for the program. And we found that the people who participated in the program were 35% better at walking, 53% reduction in depression, 68% reduction in hospitalizations, and a 43% reduction in emergency room visits. So it's really quite remarkable, and it's very low cost. It's about $15 an hour per participant. Can you share a little bit more about what that program is like? It's amazing. So the way it works is we pair a college student mentor with a senior, and they meet for 2 hours a week. And it might sound like a lot of time, but for the senior, it's actually not enough time. They want more time with their mentor. But what we find is that in as little as 2 hours a week, they can make remarkable changes. So the seniors commit to 3 goals that they want to accomplish. Could be anything from, making phone calls to their family members, taking walks outside, doing the New York Times crossword puzzle, and their mentor helps them achieve those goals. What's your hope for the future of aging? Like, what does an ideal world look like? I think in an ideal world, no senior would live alone. And I think that we should re-envision retirement. So right now, we have this concept that, we retire and we just sit around and we wait for Medicare to pay for our health care. And I think that that's actually not good for anyone. I think that people should retire and then immediately do something, some kind of service, some kind of contribution. And I think that we need to think about how we can create more opportunities for that. That's all we have time for today. But I really hope you enjoyed this conversation with Dr. Aronson as much as I did. If you did, please stay tuned for more interviews. Thank you so much for watching.